this is cjhoyle. Today is Friday, June the 18th, 2021, and I'm coming to you today from Moore Avenue, just north of the Mount Pleasant Cemetery. And in this video I'm going to be giving a narrated tour of the Moore Park Ravine and the Vale of Avoca Ravine. So starting from up here on Moore Avenue, I'm going to make a right turn up ahead and get onto the Beltline Trail, which follows down into the Moore Park Ravine. So here's my turn. I've got a nice steep hill here to go down to start things off. I'm going to take it easy because it's pretty bumpy. Currently there's some construction going on this part of the trail here. And the Moore Park Ravine was carved out by the Yellow Creek, which flows along beside us. It's over to my right now, but there should be some points along the way down here that you'll be able to see it. And you'll notice that this trail is very muddy. And that's because it rained earlier today. For most of the morning, I think it rained, so I probably didn't pick the best day to come here to do this ride. That bridge we just passed underneath it back there is a pedestrian footbridge, which I guess bikes are allowed to use as well, and it connects together Heath Street. So because we are riding down through a ravine, it's going to be mostly downhill, at least for the Moore Park portion of things, but the Mud Creek, which, as I said, follows the bottom of this ravine, it is a tributary of the Don River, so it flows down into the Don River, or the Don Valley, which is where we're heading. And after we get down there, we're going to be coming up another tributary of the Don, which is called the Yellow Creek, and that valley is called the Vale of Avoca. You can see that there's sort of a valley over to my left side now, and that's where that Mud Creek is flowing now. There was a culvert, I guess, that we must have crossed over that brought the creek from one side to the other, and it looks like it's crossing again over to the right now here. The Mud Creek is mostly a buried creek or river, as many of the original creeks that pass through the city of Toronto are. They changed them into buried pipes that go underneath of the ground. And here again up ahead where you can see, maybe I'll show this one up close so you can see. There's the Mud Creek, not much of a creek, but you can see it. The small amount of water that's flowing down it right now goes into that concrete channel there. We've got another bridge up ahead that we're going to go underneath of. It's quite high up. We're now pretty far down into this valley, and that bridge above us carries the Canadian Pacific Railway line, the CP Rail. And we'll actually be passing underneath of the CP Rail line a second time when we come up that other valley I was talking about. Yeah, you can certainly hear the sound of the mud, being sprayed from my tires, but I do have fenders on this bike, so thankfully I'm not getting myself too dirty, but I imagine obviously the inside of my fenders and possibly the bottom of my bike might be getting a little bit muddy. That bridge back there that we just passed underneath of, that's Governor's Road, which is a residential street that connects some neighborhoods together. If we were to turn to the left there, that would take us down to the Brickworks, which is a former site where they used to make bricks down here in the Don Valley. But the buildings from that have now been converted to other purposes. An organization called Evergreen runs the Brickworks nowadays, and there's things like farmers markets and those sorts of activities that go on there now. And coming up on our right, we're going to be passing the famous Chorley Park Switchback, which is a extension of this trail, or I guess a connection of this trail to a park that's called cjhoyle Park, and because it's, you know, a fairly steep hill there, they need to have a, you know, a switchbacking trail that sort of weaves its way up there. And the reason I say that's a famous sort of switchback is because there was, you know, a whole bunch of controversy when they were, you know, consulting the community about building it. The local community wasn't in favor of it, or much of the local community wasn't in favor of it, but the larger community that didn't live directly next to it were much more in favor of it. Of course, I'm generalizing. There's exceptions to every rule. So the last time that I was here before today was back in February, and I didn't need to worry about mud back then, but it was actually because I was cross-country skiing here. Unfortunately, I made a bunch of videos about cross-country skiing back in February, but this trail did not make it into those videos. I did actually ski here twice and filmed it twice and narrated it twice, but due to some technical difficulties, those videos didn't turn out and were not able to be posted. One of them was because the camera was facing too far down, and really all you could see was just my skis. You couldn't really see anything else. But I do endeavor to come back here again in the future to do that again on my cross-country skis, hopefully next winter. Our cross-country skiing season here in Toronto only lasted for about 6 days. That was the amount of time that we had enough snow where it was, you know, really feasible to actually ski without, you know, worrying about your skis hitting rocks and things. At least right here in the city. Of course, I'm sure, you know, if you were to travel outside the city to some of the cross-country skiing parks, they probably had, you know, some technology and just some better weather that allowed them to stay open longer. But here in the city, for my urban cross-country skiing, that's what it was limited to. So this road that's over towards our left, it's kind of out of view now, but you will have seen it a moment ago. That's Bayview Avenue, which runs along, down here it runs along the bottom of the Don Valley. So we're pretty much at the lowest spot that we'll be getting to in terms of elevation in this video. So that means that, well, I've just been coasting down the hill most of the way so far. I've got some climbing to do now because I'm basically going to be going up back to the same elevation of where things started. Now, if I wanted to ride, you know, continue going down the Don Valley or ride downtown, I could have gotten onto the multi-use trail which follows along beside Bayview. But like I said, I'm on a mission today to share two valleys with you, two ravines. So here we go down into the bottom of the Vale of Avoca that the Yellow Creek flows down. And if I was to turn to the left there, that's a route called, or a trail called Milkmans Line. And it's quite a steep hill that will take you up into the Rosedale neighborhood. But over to our left, you can now see some water down in that ditch over there. That's the Yellow Creek that we're following, which it does have a couple of sections along here where it's visible, but it does go underneath of the surface through some pipes for, you know, certainly some sections of it. Definitely once you get past where we just started back there, it would go underground until the point where it meets the Don. Up above there, we're passing underneath of another bridge. Up ahead, this is Glen Road. And Glen Road is another residential street. and it connects together kind of the two different halves of Rosedale together. Rosedale is a neighborhood in kind of the north end of downtown Toronto, and it's sort of built on either side of this ravine that we're on here, and Glen Road is really the only bridge that will go across from one side to the other. So things are relatively flat so far. I don't have much of a hill, but that will be changing as we continue our way up. Prior to filming this video, I rode my bike up along Yonge Street, which is currently undergoing a transformation, at least a temporary transformation, where they're making it into a complete street with patio space on the street as well as bike lanes. That's something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and I've been enjoying following along with the construction as they've been doing it. I think today's the 6th day of construction, and they've got a lot of the lines painted for the northern section of the portion of Yonge that they're transforming. And I guess I considered riding my bike on that today and making a video, but I decided that I would save my video showing the transformation of Yonge Street until it's actually finished, because I have made videos showing the before, before they made the transformation. So the next video should be when it's finished, or at least very close to completion, to show what Yonge Street now looks like. So yeah, things are getting a little steeper here. I'm certainly not riding this quickly at all today. Just taking my time, letting you guys enjoy the scenery here with me. Everything's pretty much leafed out now, as we're near the end of spring now. You can hear some traffic up ahead. That's because we're about to get to Mount Pleasant Road, and we'll cross Mount Pleasant to continue our way up the Vale of Avoca. This portion of the valley that we just came up is known as the Park Drive Reservation lands. And this crossing up ahead is probably one of the most dangerous parts of this trail, just because it's Mount Pleasant's a dangerous or a fast-moving road that kind of functions more like a highway. You see people going quite fast on it. But the good news is that they've put in some crosswalks here so you can have a signalized crossing, but they're not open quite yet. So hopefully the next time I'm here they will actually be open. They'll take those black plastic bags off, but for now I'm going to wait for a nice big gap in the traffic before I cross here. I made a video last year where I rode my bike down Mount Pleasant Road from end to end. All right, and there's my gap. Here we come. And this portion of the trail up ahead is actually paved, so I don't have to worry quite so much about mud, but I'm pretty sure there's also some unpaved portions of it up ahead too. So this trail essentially will spit me out up at the Rosehill Reservoir, or the Rosehill Reservoir, I guess it's called, which is pretty close to St. Clair subway station. And actually, it's actually quite close to where I started the video. So you really could do this as a loop if you wanted to, you know, do it more than once. You could just go right back up to where I started and do it in the same direction again, or of course you could reverse it and come back. I guess I didn't mention the beginning portion where I rode on, you know, when I was coming down that big steep hill. That's actually the bed of the former Beltline Railway. And sorry, let me just mention the bridge that we just went underneath of, that's the CP rail line bridge. That's the second time that we're passing underneath of it. But to continue with what I was saying, the Beltline Railway used to go down through that ravine along the bed where I was riding. That used to carry a railway for the Beltline commuter train service. And a couple of weeks ago, probably about a month ago at this point, I made a video where I rode along the K. Gardner Beltline Trail, which connects up basically from the Allen Road over to Mount Pleasant Cemetery. So that train used to go through land that's now the cemetery and continue down through that ravine. So this is essentially the continuation of that Beltline Trail. And someday in the future I'll film a video riding around Mount Pleasant Cemetery as well. And I'll show you how it links up at either end. Oh, okay, so it's very muddy that way, and that's because I made a wrong turn. There's no signage or anything to tell you, but the main trail actually goes across this little bridge here. That other trail will, you know, continue going somewhere and maybe connect up with some street somewhere, but not the one where I'm going to. And you can see that water we just passed, that's more of the Yellow Creek that we were seeing earlier. So now it's over on our right again. And here we've got some hill climbing to do. But thankfully it is a paved hill. Before filming this video, I did actually ride this trail in reverse to get up to the start of it, and I found that climbing up through the other valley, the one that wasn't paved, was kind of challenging to climb. It looks like this pavement is actually very new. I don't know when it would have been repaved, but it looks like it could have been done this year. Maybe somebody else knows and they can comment below and let us know. They are currently doing work on the Rosehill Reservoir. They're kind of refurbishing it, and they're going to redevelop the park that sits on top of it. So this could be related to that in one way. Let me just show you over the side there. There's down the valley that we're climbing, and I'm pretty sure that trail that I was following over on the other side, the dirt one, does continue further north. And I believe that, I think it's actually on this side, but basically the trails that are down at the bottom of this ravine, they actually connect up to a gate of Mount Pleasant Cemetery down at its southern end. So if you wanted to go to Mount Pleasant Cemetery directly, you could actually stay on that trail, but you know, like I said, it wouldn't be a paved trail, and it might not be suitable for riding a bike on, but you can certainly do it on foot. But here we have it. We've climbed back up to the top of this ravine, and I'm completely out of breath as I rejoin a street which is called Avoca Avenue. And this traffic light is up ahead is St. Clair Avenue East. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed joining me on this narrated tour of the Moore Park Ravine and the Vale of Avoca Ravine. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.